Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. So today we're going to look at the dogs again, and I want to talk about something that I've been paying very, very close attention to, and just kind of thinking of these concepts that have been going through my brain about, go ahead, girl, about these dogs and us with fear. I think the number one thing that the dogs are struggling with us as humans is our level of fear. I think it's like a repellent that the dogs just don't know how to function around it. They don't know what to do with it. And so in reality, what they do with it is try to push it away. Because I've seen this many times from, like, say, dog to dog. It's a very common thing that I see almost on a daily basis, where one dog is kind of super excitable, or we're looking at it assuming it's super excitable. So I'm just going to the fence fighting idea here, that there's two dogs behind a fence, and one dog starts to just get a little extra barky, extra, and the other dog comes in and it literally like bites it. And they may not bite it to like, I'm gonna damage it, but they literally come in with this like, I gotta do something about this, like this energy that's going on here. And the energy, I believe, is the fear. And it's weird that I see how dogs they can't survive with fear behind them. They have to be this is the thing about, well, I kind of challenge the whole concept of evolution in a way, because there's no way a fearful person would be able to survive and thrive. That would just have to be gone. We couldn't possibly have that. And that's the same way in reality with working with these dogs, that if they're evolving, there's the only way that the strongest would make it, if the strongest are able to go and they kick out all of the weak. They kick out all of the ones that are just not quite as tough. Because if you have a weak one in you, because that's a common a saying or phrase that people always like to use, you're only as strong as your weakest member. And that's very, very true, especially in the animal kingdom world, that if you have a weak being in that group with you, and this stuff is growing like exponentially this year, if you have a weak being in your group, that weak being is going to be the one that's going to be the destructive to being able to get everybody in a good place. And it's something that I'm just starting to really realize about these dogs. I'm kind of almost at a stance of saying, I know that they can't stand us as humans when we're super fearful, when we're just scared of all kinds of stuff around. They have to fight against, they have to fight back that. And I'm just really, especially this last video I made, but I'm like scanning through a couple of my older videos that I just remember of me being nervous in a situation and seeing what my dogs do. When I start to become nervous in a situation, my dogs literally, that's like, especially today, I've seen this, that I'm verifying this over and over. Today, that is the prime time that they don't listen to a single thing that I say. And they literally will push, I'm getting my feet all wet. And they'll literally just sit there and push back at what it is that I'm asking for. So if I'm scared of, or I have fear of walking in a certain area because I'm nervous of what could be. So say, if I'm nervous of walking in this area, there could be a snake out here. Yeah, there could be. But if I'm not going to come here because I think that's going to happen, every time that I call my dogs away, when my body is like, I'm scared, the dogs literally do the opposite of what it is that I'm asking for. But when I'm just in this, like, the only way I can say it is confident, feel good, strong, just ready to go into it, not nervous at all, the dogs literally, like, I rarely have to speak twice, or if anything, in reality, I rarely have to even speak. I just move, I do, and the dogs are like, they're effortlessly there with me. They don't give me no pushback, they don't give me no attitude, they don't give me no nothing. And the same way with that is in being with anger and frustration. If I'm angry in any sort of way, the dogs, like, it's like they push back at that. It's like they can't be around that, I guess word I can use is that energy of us just being, because in reality, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it as anger really is just fear. If you weren't scared of anything, you wouldn't really have to be angry about anything. So that fear is creeping in, and the dogs are just looking at that fear like, I got to get out of here. I know you want me to do this, but I can't listen to your leadership because you're scared, and I can't be around that. I'm starting to see that with these dogs, that's just kind of like like how they are. Because I see this from so many people, that you get yourself a dog, because I always ask everybody, how was your dog before this dog? And most cases, it's usually like a really small dog. And that small dog, even if it was like biting people or barking like crazy at people, it never really mattered because it was just a little dog. But then all of a sudden you're like, I want a big dog. So then you get like a big German Shepherd like this. And I would always just say how the old dog was is how the new dog is going to start to become. If the dog isn't that yet, it's going to start to become that. And then me just doing my own personal experiments, I guess I could say, with keeping people's dogs for a couple of days and realizing everything that I would see with that old person, how that dog was, they don't do any of that with me. When that dog was scared of another dog, I'm not scared of the other dog. I'm not scared of this big thing that I see, especially in neighborhoods. Dogs start to bark at bikes, and the one that's kind of sketchy to me is strollers, baby jogger strollers, all things like that. And in my mind, I'm looking at it as, I'm not scared of that baby. I'm scared of what my dog may potentially do to that baby in that carriage. So then I start seeing dogs that are barking like crazy every time they see a stroller or something. And they're barking like crazy, just absolutely insane. But you could put that dog with someone else that's not scared of the baby or scared of what could happen with that baby. And the dog just walks by like, oh, it just is what it is. I think the dogs, because every time I've done this and seen this with my own personal stuff, when I am ever fearful, the dog just has this, it literally, that's the time that I've been just being straight up, especially before, would start to get hostile. I'll start to get angry. And then my anger would make the dog not want to listen and not want to do and not want to do anything for me even more. So it would just like make me to keep having more and more anger. Because it's like that first, say, fear kicked in. And then when they didn't listen to what it is that, what you got there? Outs. I don't know what that is, and you're eating it. Nope. You're eating it like it's something great that you don't want me to take. Every time this dog starts to eat faster, that's not something that she's able to eat. It's a weird thing that she does. She looks at me like I'm gonna, I don't know how to explain that, but I don't know how to explain it. She chews on stuff just casually and just chewing on it. But when she goes in this rampage, there's something about it that her brain is not processing it right. And it's, for me, in my mind, how I look at it is we got to slow that brain process down so that you can just, you can relax and be able to be good. But the biggest thing that I've noticed, oh, what y'all got? That looks like a squirrel. Nope, you're good. It's a big fish. The biggest thing I notice is when that fear of mine would kick in because I'm sitting here scared of something, and then I'm trying to say recall the dog, and the dog is looking back at me like, I don't want to be nowhere near you because you're scared. And then I start to get angry. Then the dog is like, I really don't want to be around that even more at this moment. It just keeps making it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I believe this is a big thing on why, especially like just the differences I've seen with this specific dog here, because she's the one that just loves to chase everything. Day one, I bring this dog, oh, heck no, I'd be so scared of letting this dog just be free. But the biggest thing I've noticed is, since I was scared, I did something to make myself not be scared. I put her on leash. And I said, you're just gonna be stuck with me. And then through time, when I started to realize I'll let you off the leash, I'm not letting you off in a sense of knowing that you're gonna be perfect, but in a sense of I'm no longer scared anymore. And since I'm no longer scared anymore, I just noticed that pretty much any time that I speak, it's like they just move. They don't have any hesitation. But I think most people are struggling because this is a thing that we live in a so-called safer world today, especially say here in the United States of America. And we're so-called living in a safe world, but everyone is in such fear. That's the part of me that it just doesn't quite make sense. Come on, guys. You can carry it. I'm moving. Come on, girl. All right, out. Come on. Ophi. That's all right. I'll come get you. Sorry. We live in so much more fear today. Come on. So much more fear today, as opposed to it just being more calm and more collected. Where we live in a so-called safe society of, we got the police, we got the military, we got all this stuff. But it's like individual going out in public, more people are more fearful than ever before when it comes to just being around other folks. You know, online, everyone is just so tough and everybody got everything to say and everyone's so secure when you're online doing what you're doing. But when it comes down to the concept of being in public with other people, it's like everyone is just so strangely, weirdly fearful of everyone else. Nope. You just chewing on everything. Out. You're chewing on everything today. We're not chewing all that today. We're moving. Nope. I know you're smelling for it. I think it's like a peanut butter treat. like a cookie. I don't know how to explain it. It's like peanut butter cookie treat, not a dog treat, but like some human cookies. I don't care if they chew bones. I don't want them chewing food from food scraps. My dogs don't ever eat any food. They eat meat and and bones, and that's it. But I don't know why that does make me nervous. And right there is like another prime example of me saying not to do something and her looking at me like I don't care. In a way of, I just see it as they have to give that pushback when they see that fear arise. And that fear comes in, and the dog is like, well, I gotta just basically keep myself safe. So I'm not gonna be able to listen to you. I have to be able to run off. So this is something that I just noticed that I believe that, because everyone keeps talking to these, especially when I first started training, COVID dogs and COVID dogs and COVID dogs. They're all scared because they never were able to get socialized and never were able to go outside. And I don't believe that has anything to do with the big struggle that a lot of folks have been having with these dogs since that period. I think it's because people are more scared of other people than ever before since I've ever been alive my own self personally right now. More people are more afraid of other people. So when you're more afraid of other people, your dog is going to have to do something to push back at that fear that you have. And in the way that I kind of really look at a lot of this stuff with these dogs is the dog is in reality trying to help us through these fears. And if we don't push ourselves through the fear, then the dog has to do something to basically the only word I can use is basically I'll say is they start to become disobedient because they're not going to be able to listen to someone who's super fearful. They can only listen to someone that is in reality confident and strong. Because I've seen people take dogs that were already like say nice dogs. They were already secure, sound, stable, really nice dogs. And give it about 6 to 8 months, I start to see that dog starting to turn into this insecure little baby. And I'm only seeing that because in my mind is because they're around someone that's fearful and the dog starts to act that same exact way. And then they act that way to a point, and then they'll start to fight and push back at that. And that's when the dogs are just constantly running away and don't want to listen to anything that anybody has to say. And then they get around someone else that is say more confident and more secure with who they are. Then the dog just goes right back into, it's a good dog again. But a lot of what I think that's really going on with these dogs and why they really don't listen is just a simple thing of fear. When we're not fearful, the dogs are going to want to listen to pretty much anything and everything that we say. But the moment that we start to become fearful, that's when they have, it's like they just have to push. They have to get away. They have to like basically take control of the situation because someone has to. We both can't be scared here. Ophi. I like this spot because you could see a lot, so they'll go really far. If they can't see me, they won't go. So I kind of just want to, you're good. I kind of want to see how far she'll go because they'll only go as far as they can see me. But out in this specific place, the brush is getting kind of high right now, but I was here like maybe a month ago. And as long as they can see me, they'll go far away. But if they can't see me, they stay really, really close. So that's why in reality, my dogs stay close to me on the trails that I walk because they're kind of twisty and curvy. As soon as they get around a curve and they can't see me, they just instantly turn back. But again, that's me just seeing that the dog is scared. The dog is nervous and the dog is looking for its grounding of being able to know that it's good, like everything is fine. So then they have to come back. But if I'm scared as well as they're taking turns and I'm scared because I can't see them, that's going to kind of create the dog to just kind of go into a panic. In that panic mode, the dog is just gonna have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, as opposed to just saying, I'll just be with you. This is where a lot of times I believe that a lot of folks, we mess the dogs up because we allow them to do stuff too soon while we're still scared of what's going on, what we're seeing them do. That we don't have the confidence behind us because we saw the dog run off once. And then you're like, oh, nope, every time I see this, now I got to make sure of this and do this and do this. And that fear just keeps creating the dog to just keep having to give that pushback of, I don't want to be around you. I can't do this. or it's trying to, this is something that I see so much and it terrifies the heck out of people. But when your dog is so-called, but it is visually and verbally barking at another dog. So when I have dogs, this is the weirdest thing to me. I see this all the time. When I have a dog that is, because they rarely do it anymore today, that is barking at my dogs, especially, I don't know why they don't really bark at Kahi no more, but they like to bark at little Ophi over here. And they'll be barking and barking and barking and barking and barking. And then I'll see that dog literally dragging the owner to try to get closer to my dog. and that dog gets close to my dog, and they'll literally get nose to nose. And this is stuff I just can't prevent it. It happens because we're always so close with where it is that I go and I see people, that the dog gets nose to nose with Ophi, and it just looks at her like, hey, how's it going? How are you? And it's in a way that the dog is trying to help the owner in a way of saying, there's nothing going on here. Let me show you. So the dog drags you to them to say like, see, there's nothing happening here. Everything is fine. And then the owner instantly, I can see their body language, instantly they calm down. They're tense and tense and tense and tense. And then as soon as they see their dog just go to this, I'm relaxed, they just instantly calm down. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, everything is fine. And it's sometimes that I think that the dog is literally trying to help us through a lot of these issues. But a lot of it is we're not say accepting the dog to be able to push us through something that we're scared of. And then what starts to happen is we're not helping the dog through its fears in the same way. And then we just have this mismatch going on that the dog just literally doesn't want to listen to a single thing that you have to say. I see this so often that when I see people walking with their dogs and they're just, especially out here, and there's another place I go. I don't think I've ever made a video over there. I might have to go make a video over there. It's one of the few parks that I do have to pay for. I don't get a military discount, so that's probably why I don't go there too often. Make me pay the $2 to get in. But when I see people that are just walking with their dogs and they're off leash and just hanging out, it's a good study for someone to just go to a place, especially like just go to a dog park. That's basically what that place is. It's a huge place it's just open. People are walking, dogs are out. Watch the human and watch how just calm they are and just relaxed and just chill they are, and just how it's just like, oh, everything is good, everything is fine. They're not nervous in any way. And then they call the dog and the dogs just come instantly to them. But then you'll watch another person come in. They got the dog on leash and the dog is kind of, you're good. I'm just going this way again. And the dog is just doing what the dog is doing. And is looking kind of nervous, looking kind of crazy. The human is also like super scared, super nervous, very on edge. And it's something about just like seeing that over and over and over and over and over again. There just has to be something behind it, because it's a matter of the dog can't follow the leadership of someone that is scared. It just can't do it. Because something that I see all the time, and it just always blows the parents away when they have say, my dog is lunging and it's crazy and it's doing all this madness, then I'm like, okay, especially if it's usually I keep this at an age of about 10 and above. But I can grab your 10-year-old daughter that weighs like half even what the dog even weighs, and she can grab that leash and that dog will walk perfectly fine with that child. Because the child, in their mind, most cases, the parent, if anything happens with that dog, the child goes to the parent, you go get it. They don't take any responsibility and they don't have any fear because they know that the parent is going to take care of it. So they walk with that dog and that dog walks with them. And the parents just see that. They're like, what the heck? Like, how is my little child? Because they're always scared because they have the dog and they're always scared because the dog is acting like crazy with them. So they're going to assume that the dog is going to act crazy with the child as well. But that child starts to hold that leash and that dog just looks up at the kid and is like, oh, I'll just be with you. I'm good. I'm fine. Because it's like that fear just disappears. All that crazy madness goes away. And when it goes away, then the dog is like, I'll listen to you. I want to be with you. I've seen that exact scenario so many times that I don't know why. I just kind of log it. I just pay attention to these things over and over, and I keep seeing it over and over and over again. And it's something that I'm starting to try to like process and put together of like, what's going on with these dogs? Why is it that literally one person can have the dog and the next person can have the dog and it's a completely different dog? It's the same dog, but it's a different dog. It's displaying different things with what's going on around it, with who is literally holding the leash. The dog literally changes. There's something about that it's not a matter of training the dog, that it has to be something about what's going on with us as humans that we're putting and pushing into the dog that the dogs just don't like. I don't think that they like fear from us, period. I don't think they like fear from another dog inside of the household. That's why for me, all my dogs are on an equal stance. Nobody is better or tougher or stronger than the other. And that's where I believe that I just don't have the all-day dogfight stuff going on, because no one needs to be scared of another one. We're all just equally invested here, and everyone has a say-so of being like heard and seen. And I think that there's things like that are going on, that the dogs have to give pushback when there's a say weaker member. When there's someone that is too scared to be able to just do, and like straight up, the basics. So many people are scared of feeding your dog. You're scared because you watch videos or something even may have happened at some point in your life that you're scared You're scared of feeding the dog because the dog maybe showed teeth that you want, so you just throw the food in there. And then you're wondering why day after day after day it just kind of keeps getting worse because you're just feeding more and more into that fear. And then the dog's like, man, I can't do nothing with you because you can't even like be the leader to guide me to my food. Like you're scared of the food even. So there's a lot of things like that I see that the dogs are really pushing just because of fear, not because of anything. This is the thing of why I'm just really seeing how amazing that these dogs really are, that how limited I really need to be able to actually speak to them to get them to do stuff that I want them to do. Because it doesn't come down to me having to give commands and give orders all the time. It's just an expectation of I'm going to keep all of us safe and everything is good out here. You're good, girl. Let me see it. I just want to see what that is. Ophi. All right, you good. She has I don't know what it is. I'm gonna say this straight up. There's always one thing. There's always one or two or three things that we're just like, I wish that like basically change, that you want to change. There's things about this dog that I'm like, I want to change, but I can't change her. She is who she is. The one thing that I wish that I could change from her, that in reality I've never really cared too much. Certain things that she eats, she could chew on the bones, but she just always has to be like finding food and eating something. And I'm like, if I could change one thing of this dog that would make me like her more, would be to just get the heck off the food. Stop looking for it all the time. Stop scanning for it all the time. Stop like searching for food all the time. It's just a weird thing, but at the end of the day, that's just who she is. Because I noticed like all the other dogs don't do that of mine. They're just very, like they'll go find a bone here and there, but it's not like their mission to go find it. And I just don't want to change her from that. It's who she is, unfortunately. But it's something that is just, it's weird. But I give it to her in the sense of, I keep it in a safer manner that she has specific things only that she is allowed to be able to chew. And the other things, she has to let it go. But it's something that I'm just like, man, I don't know what it is. I can't stand that about her. But it's, for me, because it does come down to that level of fear that I had to do something to be able to help my own self with that fear. Is if you got to chew, then chew the bone. Don't chew the other things, because what she used to do, oh my goodness, I know a lot of y'all probably understand this. What the dog does is when you try to take it from them, because even like back there, she kind of looked at me like, I'm not going to let you take this. But if I tell her to out, I don't really care. But when it's something that I don't want her to have, they chew it faster. Because that's that on the beginning of this video, this peanut butter cookie thing down here, is when I said out to her, she starts to try to chew it faster and faster and faster and faster. And that's how I'm looking at it. That's the fear in me of, what are you eating? I don't want this, I don't want that. So then she's feeding off of that of, I got to do it faster now. But when it comes to a bone out here, man, she just grabs one and she just lays down. So here, she's down there chewing on it, hanging out. It's casual. And that's how it's so easy for me to tell them to like drop, like to say out to it. They just instantly spit it out. But the things that I get scared of and I say out, it's like they eat it. They try to go for it faster. And that's a complicated thing with living, especially when I take this dog in public areas, because it's not so bad anymore today, because she knows what she can and can't chew on, and time and place. But if there's like a food bone or something that's already cooked on the ground, the dog gets it, and then you try to tell them out, and they just like, they swallow it faster. And that's where things can get dangerous. And that's stuff that I've been really like trying to understand more about, is that concept of the fear. If you weren't scared of it, would the dog just let it go and just doesn't care? If you're not scared of the dog chasing, would the dog just stop chasing and you just be able to say, hey, not right now, we're not doing that? If you weren't scared of the dog meeting other dogs, do you think that your dog would just go up and walk to other dogs and just hang out with them? If you weren't scared of your dog meeting babies, for instance, then do you think that your dog would still be barking and doing what it's doing? If you weren't scared of everyone, it's something that's big in neighborhoods, it's kind of a little funny to me in a way, but everyone's always nervous about someone parking in front of your house, or a neighbor, or someone, or people walking by, and you're getting scared. If you weren't scared of people walking by your house, do you think that your dog would just stop barking and stop caring and doesn't need to go onto that rampage? If you weren't fearful of what a certain person looks like when they come up and approach you, do you think your dog would just stop barking and stop lunging and stop doing all that to other people? It's stuff that I would really want a lot of people to really start to think about, as opposed to thinking I need to train the dog, as opposed to like getting yourself through the fears that you have to be able to see that your life really starts to get into a better place. Thank you. Hi. You're looking for that peanut butter thing again. I see you. Out. think that's what it is. It's like a, no, it's like a Reese's cup. Nope. It's a Reese's cup thing. These dogs can lead me to whatever I want to find. They're so incredible. There's a bunch of deer on the way out here today. I don't really see them too often, but today there's like a whole pack of, I guess they're starting to group up because there was a hunt a couple of months ago and they're starting to get together. They used to just be like 1 or 2 out just walking by themselves, but now they're in a big group. And it's like, it was a big group of at least a couple dozen. And Kai's the one that always finds them first. And he's like, hey, there's something coming up ahead. And then Ophi looks at it like, oh, there is something up ahead. And then we just see them run and we just literally like, well, so for me at this point today, I just stand there and I let them just stare at the deer while they're running. I don't have to, if they run like 2 feet in front of me across the trail, I have to like tell them no or tell them to come here and then they'll back out of it. But most cases, I just let them just stare at it. And they'll just see them running and they don't really have a desire to want to go after it. But I believe that's because at the end of the day, I don't know how to say it other than I'm not scared about it. I don't care. I don't care if the dog takes off and chases at this moment today, because it's not, I guess the main thing I can say behind that is it's not obsessive, that I can easily be able to talk to them and get them out of it. But when it's obsessive, that's when the dog like literally like almost, I'm gonna say almost, I'm pretty sure, they like just zone you out and they don't pay attention to anything that you have to say. They just, they don't care to listen to you. They're like so focused in that it's like they're not even, they can't hear. But when like at this point today, if something were to come out here right now, like if literally a deer ran right in front of my face right now, I just would have to say, we're not doing that. And they would just stop. And I don't care. I'm not nervous. I'm not worried about, I don't know, not to say I don't know why and how, but it's something that I realize that I can't be fearful over. I can't be fearful of seeing other dogs. I can't be fearful of seeing other people. And because I notice that drives my dogs to start to be weird and different and strange. It drives them to just like have to match that same energy. But when I just living in these lands, I just don't care. Like, I just don't care. I'm like, it is what it is. If the dog comes up to my dog, come on over, buddy. It is what it is. I noticed that everything in reality just de-escalates almost instantly, and there's nothing that I've ever had to worry about still. I used to worry because dogs used to bite my shepherd man over here all the time because I was always so scared. I was always so nervous. But it was one time I saw this Dalmatian that just walked right up to a dog that was like just bark. It was probably like week 1 or 2 or 3 that I got that, like first month that I got that dog, that this dog was just looking insane, just savage, just absolutely intense. And she walks right up to this dog's face and she just looks at him and she's just like, hey. And then that dog turned into, how you doing? And they just stood there just so calm, so chill. I was like, this dog knows what she's doing. She knows how to handle herself. If this dog literally was trying to eat her face off, she wouldn't walk to the dog's face. And that kind of just allowed me to be able to see, like, there's nothing to really worry about out here. And she's the one that's really helped me out, because I used to still be terrified with my shepherd here of like, don't meet nobody, because every dog seemed like it wanted to bite him. Or not seemed like, but some were biting him. And I just have let all that go. And that's how now both of these dogs are able to meet pretty much anybody and any dog. Because Kai never used to let people even touch him or come close to him. And now he'll let pretty much any single person that comes along the trail that wants to pet him, he'll walk right up to him, because they'll put their hand down and he'll walk right up to him. He's like, hey, how's it going? Some people, he'll lean his body on them. I'm like, dang, dude, you really have come into being a really nice dog. And I believe that comes because I'm not scared anymore. I'm not nervous about what's going to happen anymore. And the more nervous I was, the worse things were. And now that it's just like, oh, we're walking, we're just dancing around in the world, we're just living. It's like everything is just, I don't know how to say it. Nothing's perfect, but everything is just fine. Everything is just smooth. Everything is just easy. So this is something that, there's certain areas I come, so we're kind of far in here today. That's why I gotta get them to go in the water a little bit more, because it's kind of, I'm in a wrong time to be out here. It's hot. But they get these fish bones. I don't really get to get fish at the house. I try to go fishing. Fishing skills are no good to try to catch them, some for dinner. But it's just something different that they get that they're able to chew on.